Hello, welcome to our painting stream here. Today I'm going to continue working on dungeon tiles, and you're going to work on Commander Sol-ath. What we do here is we do a sort of D&D miniature painting. These are miniatures that we use for our D&D stream, which airs on Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern, although we've been off for Christmas and New Year's. We will be starting after the weekend following the 2nd, right?
Yeah, we're off. We were off last week,
and we're
off this coming Sunday.
But I am working on this big project we've been doing, which are dungeon tiles. I'm getting gray base coat on a lot of tiles. I'm probably going to go until I run out of paint. Or time's up, whichever hits first. You're working on Commander Sol-ath, a mini.
Mm-hmm.
If you're interested, the tiles that I'm painting, we 3D printed ourselves. And if you're interested in the designers of these, you can go to our website, dysondungeons.com, and go to the attributions page.
I'm just giving this a bit more of a shake.
Yeah. So I'm going to be... This is what I'm doing right now, is getting these pieces just a nice gray base coat. Like that, and I missed a little bit of a pillar last time I was doing these. So I'm going to start with touching up on that, and then I'm going to be moving to some of the other tiles, which are hard to see because they're all black. With the primer and the original. So, the original print color was also black. Basically, just quickly get that grade. There we go. Now that one's finished.
I'm gonna get just a little bit and wound up with too much.
And since I'm just going a single color for the whole day, basically, I'm just going to be using one big brush and getting it all as painted as possible.
I am going to be switching colors a whole lot.
Yeah, do you have a little water cup for yourself?
Nope, I'm going to get one. Because I forgot to grab it. I always do that. I always forget the water cup. I'll be right back, folks.
So, all of these pieces we printed ourselves, all of these dungeon tiles that I'm working on here. And what I'm gonna be doing is just getting the base coat on. We have probably like 100 to 200 tiles here to go through.
Oh yeah, at least that many.
And if I like to try and just get all the one stage done at once on all of them. So in this case, getting all of these tiles painted with the base gray for the stone that they're made out of. This will give me a good foundation for various other color stones in it, and any little details I want to do, because you need that initial base coat in order to really work off of. So I'm not gonna have all that interesting going on personally today, but you're gonna be working, Lexi, you're gonna be working on a character figure, which is a lot more interesting, correct?
I mean, can be. Character painting can also be kind of boring because you're just like, I'm gonna get this one micrometer line.
Let me spend 5 hours painting this small scroll.
Yeah, right. That is what happens, but with some regularity.
It can actually be kind of fun too, and seeing that little tiny detail take shape can be quite interesting.
It can be. I think this brush needs to hang out in some denatured alcohol.
Just to
I think there's too much.
Lena.
Yeah. I think I might do that later. In the meantime, what I think I'm gonna do next is actually paint the floor here. And we have a... So, Sol-ath doesn't really have a floor. And like, not a specific pattern. It's just a very basic, flat, nondescript surface.
Yeah, you didn't give it a textured surface or anything.
No, and you know, I actually kind of prefer that over... We've had a lot of figures that we've purchased over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And unless there's something very distinctive about the character's origin and
that you want to represent.
And like, yeah, I've found that I actually just like something pretty basic, so that it disappears into the background a bit, you know?
The footground.
Yeah, the ground, I guess. Just disappears into the ground. Because if I can get that detail done, then I should be able to start doing some of the touch-up around the base here.
Well, one thing I kind of like, too, is with a base is sometimes it's nice to just go with, like, a bright, easily identified color that doesn't really make sense character-wise, but for play.
Yeah, and since we make these to be seen on the show, it can be really helpful for viewers to have, like, a really bright color.
Like a bright yellow base or something like that, you know?
Yeah, I might actually do, I'll probably do red for Sol-ath. We did have a red token in the show. That was Dromar.
Yeah.
And...
as a character.
Yeah, it matched his character color. All the character figures that we have a base color that matches the character's colors. For example, Nine's is... blue, because he had, when he started off, all blue clothing.
And we chose sort of color themes for our characters, so Soria is white and purple, very Roman, and Sol-ath is silver and green, and Nine's is blue and orange.
I think I might just do deck tan for the base here.
Something nondescript.
Yeah, because there's a couple of objects on the ground
that you might want to stand out.
Yeah, there's a little scroll. There's a little scroll, although the scroll will probably be similar color, so that might fade into it.
You guys do like black or something.
Maybe I had thought originally about dark gray. I don't know.
Dark gray would work.
I think dark gray is going to be...
If you want it to just sort of fade away.
Yeah.
And not be a noticeable thing. That would work.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shake it a little bit
more. Alright. These windows are a little bit annoying to paint because you have to get down in the inside of the frame.
And there's a lot that you can forget, as we were sort of joking about last time. Is that there were a whole bunch you just kind of missed.
And there's actually a surprising amount of surface area hidden in each one of these with the all the lines on the brick and everything. So you have to sort of watch your... It eats up a lot more paint than you would expect.
If you guys haven't had the chance yet, and I am going to heartily endorse my own product, and product being videos, on the channel right now. It's coming off there.
Maybe the primer didn't adhere very well.
Yeah, that's possible.
There's ways to work through that. It's just
Yeah.
annoying.
It is annoying. On our channel, on the VODs, when you're done watching us today, I highly recommend that you go check out the stream from Friday, which was the Christmas Eve stream. In that stream, which will later be put up on YouTube, I paint a couple of 3D printed Christmas tree ornaments. And I show you how to paint them and how to put them together and everything. And in our Twitter and Instagram accounts, I did link to it. And of course, when I get it up on YouTube,
I'll include that as well.
yeah, that'll have the link as well. I would have it up on YouTube faster, but I want to get through the backlog in order so people can kind of watch the painting process in order of our backlog. So
it might be a little bit before it's up on.
A little bit. But for now, the VOD is still up. I had a lot of fun painting and making those.
And you had a special guest.
I did have a special guest. My dad showed up to the stream because he was coming over for a Christmas Eve dinner, which has been a tradition for the last few years for us. Do a Christmas Eve dinner with him. Sorry.
You're alright. I'm just trying to get through these windows. I'm kind of going from the most complicated things to the least. And trying to get the more complicated things out of the way, so that I have an easier time going on. That's kind of how I prefer to work, is tackle the most annoying part first, and then work my way into the easier stuff.
Oh boys, I wish that was how landscaping could work.
Oh. Rather than just like, this part has to go next because it's the part that has to be next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We do a lot of landscaping around our house. It's one of our favorite family activities.
Everyone loves it.
Only I love it. But I do genuinely like doing it. I don't think everyone else genuinely likes doing it, but we have a very nice yard, I think.
We genuinely like the results, for sure.
Yeah, that's how I rope you guys into it. Is okay, you'll hate it along the way, but when we're done,
It'll be great.
it's great. I know you guys generally come along with me. Without too much grumble and hatred.
Not too much.
I think this is a pretty good color choice for the face. This is very dark gray.
Yeah, it's nice and neutral.
When I'm done putting it in, I will bring it over to the camera and let everyone see it.
I'll probably be implementing some of that gray in some of the detail work on these dungeon tiles once I get through. Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah. There we are.
So now
Down, clean the brush.
I am doing the arrow slit walls.
Oh, yeah. When I designed those, I hadn't really thought about how much of a pain in the butt they were going to be to paint.
They have this arrow slit.
They kind of suck to paint, I'm betting, don't they?
There's worse.
Is there?
Mm-hmm.
Which ones are the worst?
I'm not a big fan of these 2-pillar ones.
Oh no?
No.
Really? What's is there just like a lot of area on them?
There's just a lot of awkward edges. The worst ones to paint though are the ones that have the 2 walls with the single wide hallway. Because you're like
yeah, I can
sliding your brush inside between them.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
But wait till I get to the corners, because although the corners look fairly simple, there's a lot of surface area. So we'll see how horrible they are.
So when I was thinking this through, I think blue jeans kind of not really what I want to ultimately go for here, and I think I might just have them have like some black underpants here. Just black.
Black underwear.
Yes, black underwear. So there would be black along this line here and in these lines.
So that's what the arrow slit tile looks like.
I'm not sure. Really, I don't know. So, like, this area would be black, and like these lines would be black. What do you think?
I think that would be fine.
That'd be okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just make sure you use the flat black.
Yeah, this stuff.
Yeah. One thing I don't mind about these windows is that there's only 4 of them each.
Gonna need to do a second coat on that gray for most of it. But I think the gray is gonna pop nicely. I'm gonna show it for one. That looks like. It refuses to ever focus. There we go. So that's what that gray bottom
on the base.
Yep. And you can see the difference. The light gray here, that is the unpainted part. And that's what the base was. I think that's gonna turn out pretty nice. I'm happy with that. Alright. The ivory? Yeah. Should I use the ivory or the deck tan? For the little scroll here.
If you're going for like a parchment look, I'd actually use the ivory with a brown wash, an umber wash.
You know, we did that on the bookshelf that I painted. We've done that. And that I did a dry brush with it, and that turned out really nice.
With the umber?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, scroll. That's probably enough. Ivory. I figure I'll get the scroll painted before I do the second coat of gray, because then I'll already have the brush out and I can touch it up. Am I smart? Maybe. Maybe? I'm not sure yet.
We'll find out. On this week's episode of Am I Smart?
Get all the way. Yep. think I'll need to have a little glob at the end. There. There we go. Ivory? Painted in there. So we have been watching on HBO Max. We just watched this documentary special called Beanie Mania.
Oh, about the Beanie Babies.
All about Beanie Babies.
Because we were kids during that time.
And what it made me realize.
Our parents were real weird.
Is that our parents? Not necessarily like our parents, like the two of us.
Specifically mine.
Because I had, like many kids in the 90s, I had like a few Beanie Babies. I think I had maybe like, I don't know, 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just the ones I thought were cool. I was like, oh, I like those. I remember one I had was the raccoon one.
The raccoon was cool.
Yeah, I really liked the raccoon one. So I didn't have all that many. I think you had a few.
Well, between my brother and I, we had a fair number.
Yeah. Your mom really got into collecting them, but not on the scale of
like
these
some
other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you guys had maybe like 30.
Between us, yeah, something like that.
I think you maybe had 30. And we joked for years about how your mom went a little beanie crazy during that period. But watching this special, like, no.
She was fine.
No, she was totally fine in comparison to literally everyone else. Oh my god. What happened to all of our minds? The best part of the whole show was the kids who were between like 8 and 12, like our ages, when the Beanie Babies were around, and the news people asking them, what do you guys think about Beanie Babies?
And they're just
like stop. Just stop.
This is something weird my parents do. Like, I
would like none of it, please and thank you.
I always felt like there's this picture that I think encapsulates the 90s so well, where it's two people getting a divorce on the floor of the courthouse, dividing up their Beanie Baby collection.
I think that one is... That one's just so funny.
It seems like that really gives you the feel of the 90s, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that one pretty well encapsulates the 90s. So what'd you guys do in the 90s?
Got divorced and split up our Beanie Babies.
And I have no problem with people deciding, I'm gonna collect a thing.
Yeah.
None.
It was the people who are like, these are gonna be worth money forever. This is an investment. I don't need to put my money in, like,
actual investment.
A stable, like, index fund.
Not that they existed during the 90s.
No, but, you know. Okay, so that's all the little windowy ones. The next ones I'm going to be tackling are these corners, which you can... It's just a black void, basically, 'cause it's all black right now. But once I paint it, you'll see that this is like a corner. These are going to take a bit, just because there's a lot of surface area. Like a whole lot of surface area. And I'll see how far I get with my paint. Basically. You can sort of start to see the corner now that I've gotten a little paint in there.
And I'm doing all sorts of little detail work on Sol-ath. Just got the rest of the leather on the belt in. Of course, that's going to get... There's a lot that overlap there. So that will get cleaned up later.
Yeah.
I'll probably have to mix a little bit more of that.
That's the corner. Taking shape now.
Aquamarine mithril sort of color mix that I've made.
Mm-hmm.
And go touch up floor again, get that nice and clean.
Okay. That takes a lot of paint, and I have a lot of these corners. So we'll see how far I can get through these. Just because there's a lot of surface area to cover. And there is a little inconsistency with this base coat, because I'm trying to be a little conscientious of how much paint I'm using. So I'm not putting it on extremely thickly. But since it's a black primer and a black print, that's actually not necessarily a bad thing. It adds a little variation inherently to it. Something that you would actually see with stone. You know, not every stone is the exact same color, and sometimes there's little spots that are darker and spots that are lighter. So it's actually starting to build in a little bit of variation that I'm gonna want down the line anyway. So
What? Every rock looks the exact same. We have a yard. It has rocks in it.
they're all the same shape, size, and color.
It came from the store that way.
Friends don't like our rocks.
If you know what that's from, then
You listened to
When
NPR
you
from
listen-
a few years ago.
Then, yeah, you listen to just the right amount of NPR.
Big city friends don't like our rocks.
Second coat, definitely good idea. Creates a nice, even color across the base to work with. And might need to touch up a little bit more on that ivory, maybe.
I find especially with detail painting, there's a lot of give and take back and forth.
Like, which part do you want to have? Are you just not quite
right? Or if you want it all to be quite right, yeah, just like, well, I'll paint it this color, and now I'm gonna paint the color that I just messed up. Now I'm gonna paint that color back, and you go back and forth until you hit the exact right line, and then you just stop and never touch it again. Okay, that was corner 2 out of... I have 12 more, so 14.
debating what I want to make that little orb down there. I didn't even have like an idea for what that orb was going to be. I was
Wasn't
like,
it like a fervent drive orb or something?
Yeah, I think maybe I had that sort of idea that
you could do like brass.
no, I'm going to do a little shake. Sort of delicate work because I'm trying to preserve some detail. So what I'm doing is mopping up some extra green that I needed. So these little grooves on this orb that I needed some green in. And the only way to get it in there was to put too much green. And then mop it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I have done. You know what I could do today? I could dry brush the salt in his salt and pepper hair.
Yeah, you could do that if you wanted.
Could.
You could steal a little bit of the gray I'm using before it's gone.
Oh, I guess it's got to be lighter than that.
Lighter than this gray?
Yep. Yeah, it's got to be lighter than that. It's going to be a light gray. Because it's the salt and pepper, not the salt and... It's too dark to be
Oh.
salt.
Didn't know you were such a aficionado when it came to salt and pepper here.
My dad had very salt and pepper hair for a long time. Spent a lot of time dyeing it in his 40s.
For some reason.
And he always used the Just for Men. So I remember the Just for Men smell pretty well. It's not like a really bad smell, it's just strong.
Mm-hmm.
And a little chemically, you know? But yeah, he had that going on for years until he just sort of decided, like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore.
It's just a little much.
And then everyone said, like, I really like the salt and pepper you've got going on. So I have some pretty clear memories of that sort of hair.
So Sol-ath is your father.
No, he just has my dad's hair. Okay. This would be my... Where's that really nice brush that you were doing all the detail work with?
I think it's under here.
Is it under that? I'll get it. Okay. This is such a small detail. I think I need something a little bit more precise than what we've got.
There's one of them, the other one's that blue handle.
Wait, these...
Yeah.
We only bust these out when we really want to be very precise. Where's that?
Yeah, there's a brass and then there's a bright brass. Which is that black?
Yeah.
The bright brass is a little closer to the gold. Whereas the regular brass is a little yellow and darker.
Yeah, it's got some orange in it. More reds. I think I'm gonna do the regular brass.
I generally prefer the regular brass over the bright brass. Personally.
We use the bright brass on nice. We use it on the bookcase I made.
Yeah.
Use them.
But if you want something to be like, this is brass, I find the regular brass is better for that.
I think there's probably enough in there. Just in the little cap spill. But you know, with the brass, it actually often needs post-shake mixing.
Yeah, that one.
There's a lot of colors to combine here.
And it separates fairly easily.
Mm-hmm. There's a very dark gray in this to get the color right, and it likes to separate out. Just clean my brush up a bit. Just gotta get the right light so I can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna have more little accenty details on here. But I'm gonna start with this.
Okay. Getting through a ton of stone walls. I'm probably gonna run out of paint before I get through today. So I'll have to figure out something else to work on.
This is coming up pretty low. I actually haven't used these brushes before. This is the first time I've gotten to use this brush.
Yep.
Boy, is it nice.
Yes. A lot better than our janky old brushes that we've had for ages. Decades.
Yeah, these are a good purchase. And I know I'm doing a lot of this really out of shot right now. But I gotta get the lighting just right.
We have
so
been
I can
thinking.
See where the hell the paint is going.
We have been thinking of rearranging this painting a little bit. Try and get better shots, right?
Yeah, get some shots that are a little bit more conducive to people being able to see exactly what we're doing.
Just have to figure out what that looks like, basically. I think if we could somehow suspend something from the ceiling and get a top-down shot, that would be ideal, but I don't know exactly how we would work that out.
I don't know either. But, you know, take a look.
Since this is just a, we'll just throw it together and see what happens originally.
Mm-hmm. It really was.
Since typically I was sitting in here painting all these sets on my own or with my dad or whoever at the time, you or dad or whoever was available. Anyway, for the show, and we just sort of figured, well, I can stream it.
I like how that turned out. Check out the little board.
That's looking very nice.
Yeah. I'm going to put a couple more details once that copper's dry.
Brass.
But brass, not the copper. The brass is dried. But do you like the little, like, addition of the green glow in there?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I like that.
Can you show them?
Yeah, I'm going to try to get this. This may be really hard to focus on for the camera.
It's small.
It's very small. Get it as close as we can. Oh, yep, look at that. It's showing up, all right. So there's these little green holes. That's what I had blobed in there earlier. And then I very delicately painted brass all around it. And I'm going to do some more highlight and accent-y work. Like, on the top of this thing, there's a ring and, like, a little antenna-y kind of looking thing. And there's some other panels on here that I think I'm gonna do in some different colors. Other metallics, and...
But you got a good base in.
Yes, and most importantly, what I was really trying to make sure that I got was the green, and then not have the brass cover it. And that took a little doing, but I think I got it.
Yeah.
Just a very good brush and a steady hand.
Alright. I have 6 more corners.
And not much left.
A little bit of paint. Let's see which we run out of first.
I'm going to go clean this cup so the brass doesn't dry down there. I'll be right back.
So, all of these dungeon tiles were printed out in little individual pieces, and we glued them together on these sort of bases. There are actually magnets inside those bases, so that when we use them and put them together, they sort of not really snap, but they, you know, click together a little bit. Hold themselves together as one large unit, which makes them just a lot easier to handle when you're making a big map and moving figures around on it. It's a really nice little way to keep everything together during a battle. Was that a cat just now?
Yes. Sat has taken up residence on the other side of the place.
Great.
Hey, there were a couple of things that we were talking about sprucing up down here. One of them was sprucing up the wall behind us.
Mm-hmm. Hang some things on it, or
Yeah, hanging some stuff. Just making that a little bit more of an interesting background. And cleaning up our display. Right now it's just, 2 videos. Which is okay, but it's not the most interesting thing. Just sharpening up some what we have.
Make it a little more interesting, yeah.
I'm currently practicing some lines to see if I can get it right. I'm not sure I can. It's just more narrow than that brush. There's some of the very narrow black lines here. Do you think that pen would actually do a better job of getting on one black line? Or do you think that's just going to be a paint it, then paint over it?
I would actually, what I would do is take the thinnest, finest brush we have and put the teeniest, tiniest amount of black wash on it that you can. And just try and do it like a graphic line. And except that you might need to paint over it when it's that small and thin.
Okay, so just...
So, like, those sort of black lines I put on Coromont?
Yeah.
That's how I did it. I just took a very tiny black brush and a very teeny tiny amount of black wash.
And just kept touching it?
And just did like a very fine line with it, basically.
Did you use this guy?
Yeah, I think so.
Start with that. Let's see.
And you might need to paint some spots if you, twitch slightly wrong, and that's okay. It's not a big...
Oh god, are we twitching wrong?
We might be twitching, yeah. I don't know.
I hope. I'm working hard on twitching right.
How do you twitch right?
I don't know. Some of the bigger streamers have figured that out. About here. Now, I don't know how you feel about this one, but I like to clean up the messes on the bottles as I go. And just get rid of goo and stuff like that as it accumulates.
I guess I don't generally bother too much with that, but I think that's a fine thing to do. I have 4 more of these corners to get through. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, these dungeon tiles are gonna take a while to get through. There are a lot of them. Luckily, once I get through this batch, I think pretty much all I have left are single walls and floors. So solo floors, just the floor tiles on their own. I did a whole bunch of more odd-shaped ones last time I was here. So I think we're now looking at the door frames. Will be interesting because I think I'm gonna put some gray on them, but then the frame itself will probably be done in wood color, like a brown. So I'll try and leave that mostly untouched and then paint over it with the brown. And if I run out of gray paint today, what I'll do actually is I have this pile of doors here. They are upside down there. So I'm guessing these are wood with iron bars over them. Doors.
Yeah.
So I'm going to probably put the wood color in on them so that can dry. And then I can go in with the iron later. And get them all set. How's that looking? What's looking good? Are you just doing what I suggested? Is that working for you?
Yeah, as I get into some of the larger areas that I'm just going to do pink and black, I'm going to go to a different brush and just use black paint.
Mm-hmm.
But this is pretty useful.
And it's just the black wash is so much thinner, so you can control the volume a lot better. The thicker a paint is, the more it tends to clump and get where you don't want it necessarily. So when you're doing a really finite area, sometimes just using a very well thinned paint can help control that volume. So knowing your paint consistency is one of the keys to getting something painted well. Sort of a joke is to always thin your paints, because whenever, especially someone new, is it depends a lot on the paint you're getting. Like these ones I'm using, Tamiya's, I find the consistency is pretty good right out of the bottle, but a lot of cheaper paints will be a little chunkier in consistency, and you would want to add in a paint thinner in order to help control globbing on your pieces. Especially if you're doing a humanoid figure like that, where it's really gonna show when you're trying to paint a face and suddenly they have like 3 chins because sticking out of the sides of their face because it's just globbed up, awkwardly. So, making sure your paint consistency is right for what you're trying to do is something that can really help, and just using the right tool. So you don't want to use a huge brush to do a fine detail can also help quite a bit. And then there's some techniques you can learn, like knowing how to approach with your brush. things like that.
And admitting you will, from time to time,
Mess up.
and you just gotta go
Paint
in,
again.
try it again.
That's the beauty of painting miniatures, is that you can always either paint over or remove paint from almost anything, and even if you break the figure, you can usually glue it back together. So it's surprisingly forgiving of an activity to do, and as long as you're not too hard on yourself, you can learn and make some really amazing little things. Okay, this is a lot of corners, but this, I think, is the last one. So I might have actually gotten through all of the corner pieces. Pretty exciting.
Looking around, seeing if there's, anything else I'd like to touch up with this stuff. Doing this very, very light, very subtle wash brushing is a great way to introduce shadows.
When I usually do that as a finishing, after I've gotten all the base coat in. You can also do some shading with it too, which is nice as a little finisher. Like I did a lot of shading with wash on that big scorpion I did to get sort of a rounded carapace look. Okay, that is all of the corners.
Oh, jeez.
What?
Oh, just a lot of focus. Very, very intense focus for a minute.
So I'm gonna work on these door frames next. Now, the actual frame itself there, I think is wood, just based on texture. But the floor and the side pillars are stone. So, what I'm gonna be doing is putting in the gray for now, and I'm not gonna worry too much if I splash a little on the frame, because that will get painted over with a wood brown later. Because I just need to get all of these base coats in as much as possible, basically.
I am studying the armor at the moment. I'm just kind of making up my mind about exactly what I want to paint and where.
Alright, so there's a real quick job in that darker area that I've kind of slapped onto. That's gonna be a wood frame after that part dries. Because I think I have 3 more of these floors with the double floor, doors with the double floor, and then I have 6 of these doors with the short floor. I'm gonna see how far I can get through them. And these are the doors that are going to be inserted into the frames here. They actually will be able to open and shut and everything like that, which is kind of fun. Have a little movement to a piece is always kind of interesting.
And if we ever got real ambitious, there are actually set pieces where you can put in little LED lights.
Oh, for like torches and stuff?
Mm-hmm. I am not that ambitious.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even then. So here's the problem with the LEDs in sets like this. You can have, and I'm going to demonstrate this real quick for the good folks watching. So in the base here, there's a lot of empty area. That's about, I think that's a little bit more than a 1/4 inch of empty space. Now, anyone who's done any sort of electrical work like micro LED stuff knows, yeah, within this cavity here, there's actually a good amount of room to have a little watch battery. You could put a watch battery, take up about a little more than half the distance there and there, and leave plenty of room to have wiring and stuff that you then can feed up through the walls of this, because these pieces are kind of specially made, and go into like a little torch holder, and then there's a little LED diode that you could have. And if you got even fancier, you could actually print a torch out of clear resin,
so that the light shines
up through the torch.
Or like a yellow colored resin or orange or red colored resin.
Now, that's all pretty damn cool. But every time that you want to use this, you can take this piece, flip it over. Gotta have all this glued in here with all the little circuitry, and you have to have an on-off switch and a way to secure that battery and keep it in there. So this is going to be a pretty tight space in this. And you got to get that on-off switch, flip it on, have it there for all of
2 hours tops of combat.
Well, realistically, probably about 10 seconds of, wow, that was cool.
And then if you were having a smaller base like that,
then you can't, you realistically can't fit it in.
Yeah.
Unless you get really specialized parts. And all that stuff together, the raw material cost of doing that is, I mean, if you could get multiples of these and do it, but you can't buy
in bulk or something.
Yeah, it's hard to buy like a single yellow or white diode, just like one. And that can be kind of a challenge. So I don't realistically see myself getting
into
that ambitious. And I actually like electrical work. I enjoy doing that. I like wiring lights and creating cool lighting effects. I do enjoy that sort of stuff.
But it seems like something that might be more valuable to just buy if you really want one.
Yeah, if you really, really want one of those, I don't know if I would get into it without just paying someone else to make that. And even though we've talked about opening up an Etsy store ourselves, the other question that kind of runs in my mind is how many people are going to be willing to pay for the additional work to have a little tile light up?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not a small amount of work either
Right.
to get all of that just so.
These are my last So the only pieces I have left in here are single wall tiles and floor only tiles, which will be much quicker theoretically because they're just straightforward. Unfortunately, I also have that much paint left of this gray. I'm gonna see if I can finish these little half floor doors. Maybe I can. We'll see. Cutting it down to the wire here, though, with the paint.
Alright. I'm gonna do a little bit of work with this umber wash on the scroll. Because I'm feeling like, I don't know, doing the really small detail work today, and I haven't figured out exactly what color I want the rest of his armor appear to be. Maybe I'll do more of the copper. I've been doing copper on the rest of this, copper and the chainmail silver. Maybe I'll do more of that. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with giving a piece sort of a cohesive theme.
Yeah. He's got one leather boot, and then he's got his mechanical leg on the left. Prosthetic. And then got some mithril armor pieces there. So I'm gonna add a little bit more mithril element. I don't need all that much of it, but I do need to dry brush it, which means I have to get rid of a lot of it too. Every time I put it in there. And why did I choose to have a scroll on here, you might ask? Well, because Commander Sol-ath works for Company of Blades, a mercenary company. He gives out contracts. So, having
a
little contract here seems to make sense to me. And then I'm going to add a little metal band like over it. Because there's a little...
Over the scroll.
There's a little band over the scroll.
Like a ribbon or some sort of clasp.
Yeah, I'm going to say clasp. The most difficult part.
Okay, 3 more frames.
The scroll. And gotta get in through the legs. Yeah, a little bit more. All right. Yeah. I like that. I do. Yeah. Happy with how that one came out. Good. And then band. I'm gonna go rinse these wash cups out. Dry. Preserve the cups. I'll be right back.
And I'm on my last 2 door frames here. Nice, sweetie. Okay, last door frame. I think I have enough paint to get through it. That's nice.
No, I am really unsure. I think I'm gonna have to go some black paints.
Okay. All the door frames are painted. Well, the stone part's painted. I have maybe a little paint left. So what I'm gonna do is grab a couple of these wall tiles and see how far I can go.
I'm guessing not very far.
Well, let's find out. It'll be an adventure.
And then we are out.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if our local hobby shop can ship to us.
Yeah, or please take an online order.
Mm-hmm.
Go pick it up.
Yeah.
Because the one thing I do love, we go to a couple places to get paints, and they're both great stores. Love the folks there, and they're really nice and helpful. But neither of them have the best online inventories.
No.
So the thing I really hate is when you go out to a store to get a specific thing. Not like, well, I just need some paint.
Yeah, I need this specific paint.
Usually folks aren't going out to the stores for model paints. They're just like, some paint, whatever paint. Whatever I find.
Mm-hmm.
That's not typical. But you can go to our store, I think any store, and get, and just like, they're out of what you need.
Mm-hmm.
Especially these days with supply chain issues. I really don't need much of this bright brass, but I am going to do the little teeny itty bitty band in it. And let me tell you, online live inventories are
hard to get right.
The bane of all small businesses. Having an online inventory of everything is very good. Having all of your inventory online is very good. Having all of your inventory out online and in store synced up together is
less hard, less easy.
Yeah, it is actually much more difficult than folks think.
And I am officially out of paint.
You are out of paint.
Well, gray. So, what that means is I'm gonna go clean this brush thoroughly. And I might hop in and do the brown on the doors.
You want that?
Yeah, probably a good idea.
There you go. Need a little cup?
Yep.
There's that one. Okay. And then I think I'm going to put just a little red dot on that once that bright brass dries. And as usual, I'm going to clean the cup out. I will be right back.
So first I'm cleaning some of the splatter off of the upper part here. Just so it doesn't drain down and get into the brush. Alright. Cleaning a brush can be quite important to the longevity of a brush. And this brush holds a lot of paint in it, so it tends to get gummed up after extended use.
Yeah. There's a lot of really tight bristles in that brush.
Mm-hmm. So especially around where it connects to the top, to the holder part of it, the wrap.
Yeah, and while you've got the alcohol out, you may as well wash a couple of the brushes.
Yeah.
I'm just going to set them next to you.
Although this alcohol might be a little too inundated with the gray. Yeah, a proper clean.
I'm gonna rinse it. And another thing we need to do is figure out what we want to print next.
Yeah, we've been printing these for so long, these dungeon tiles, that now we need to figure out what to do next, right?
Yeah, and I genuinely don't know what I want to print next. I was thinking perhaps the docks. There's a docks set, and they could be kind of interesting to work with.
Docks and like the streets might be good.
You know, the streets, I haven't modeled any of the streets, but they would be pretty nice to have.
And relatively simple.
And relatively simple. They are cobblestone style. So, all the streets have like little bricks and there's like curbs and things. So you could have fights in the streets. We have several buildings they could go with. The interesting thing about the streets, because they are on the magnetic set,
is you can connect them to like these stone ones or the town one.
Yeah, so you can have other doors and things off of it that are
buildings and
that you can like try to, you could go in.
Might not be a bad idea.
So maybe the streets. I like that. Because the docks set, I've looked at it and it's a really interesting set, but it's also very complicated.
And how often are you fighting on a dock compared to a street?
Yeah. Now, there have been some new pieces released, and there's going to be new pieces released, assuming that Devon. This is all part of OpenForge, which you can go and support on their Patreon. You can find all of their stuff on Thingiverse. They publish everything they make on Thingiverse, and it's run by a guy who goes, at least online, by Devon Jones. Is his username. And usually at the start of each month he puts out his patrons, and because we use these for commercial purposes, we are patrons, so that we are compensating him. Usually puts out new tiles towards the beginning of the month, so in a week or so could have maybe some new tiles. But I'd really love to get some like more cave stuff. It's a very simple set to make.
Yeah, we can make more cave. We can always... The streets, I think, would be a nice versatile if you want to do a new set.
Yeah, I'd love to... What I'd really love to get with the caves would be some nice curved pieces, but also some elements that I could use as like a floor. Because one of the things that is really hard about the cave set that these don't really apply to, and part of it is, you're trying to do a natural surface, but you are using tile systems that are designed around right angles, so it doesn't really work. But I'd really love to get like a floor in there and something, because the moment when we do anything with the cave tiles are just sitting. They just sit. And it's bleh. It doesn't look quite as nice as the rest of the sets.
Yeah, I know. It's and you fight in caves all the time.
Yeah, like a cave tile, even like a mixed thing, like having some ruins that you do with a lot of the tiles are made with ruined pieces, like this.
Have like cracked versions.
Cracked and crumbly versions.
I'm just putting in a little brown in these recessed parts of the door, in case people are wondering what I'm up to here.
A lot of those are really good to mix in there, but I can't get them quite right at the moment. So I don't use the cave set much.
No, outside of just like a little bit of set dressing sometimes.
Yeah, so I'd like to see some more with the caves. We'll see if he puts some out. But I think doing the streets next is a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that would be a good, and it would be relatively simple, because they're mostly just going to be flat tiles.
Okay. I think I'm going to get the black out and start painting some of those elements.
Mm-hmm.
For his cape, I remember we had come up with a theme for it.
It was dark green and brown, if it's a...
Right, that's what it was. It was the colors of
company.
The company. That's what it was. So the question is, should the cape be the dark green and these little things be brown? Or vice versa?
I don't know, it's your world.
I think the green cape is much cooler.
Very Hobbit.
Ooh, very Hobbit. It is, though, isn't it? It is very Hobbit. I feel like I should do something kind of interesting with these elements under there, but I'm not sure what. So, you see under here, there's this kind of area, and I feel like something other than just black should be there.
The butt?
Well, yeah, it's around the butt. And there's some, clear plating elements. But I feel like plating didn't really go on the butt.
No, I think you used a slightly more futuristic armor to try and get the leg
Yeah, I had to...
element.
When designing Sol-ath to create in this character, we did on Hero Forge to create in the character the steampunk-y prosthetic. They didn't really have that within a fantasy setting. And they're working in more steampunky elements.
Yeah, but they're not there right now.
I think they might be. We haven't looked since...
It's been a while.
It's been about a month, and every single week it seems like they're adding some new
thing or other
into the model creation process. Yeah. So to get the look close to what I really imagine it, and that's the thing with Hero Forge models. I don't think there's a service that does this as well. I know there's a couple other character design modeling sites out there. I don't think any of them have got it down to like Hero Forge. Hero Forge at the moment has got them all licked. And just sheer quantity and versatility of options.
They do have a ton.
I mean, it's very versatile, but they, of course, don't have everything. So when you're making these characters, one of the things you have to... I don't know if resign is the right word. I'd more recognize and embrace, accept, is that your characters will be very close. They're not necessarily the exact character that you have in your head. So Sol-ath doesn't look exactly like Sol-ath does in the game world, but looks pretty close.
Yeah, I do wish they had more, a deeper range of face options, for example.
Yeah, they add new objects and armor and all that stuff all the time, but they haven't
done a lot with face varieties.
And I imagine there's a lot of that that's sort of difficult, because...
Yeah, for sure.
It's a face we're talking about, you know?
Faces are hard to do.
They are.
And they have a fair number of faces, but then it's also like... And there's like a slider for roundness and hardness of the face. But...
Do we have any lighter grays?
No. That's blue-gray.
Yeah.
I just used all the lightest of our grays.
I think what I might do is take... So he's going to get his salt in there. I think I might take a little dash of that gray,
Mm-hmm.
and then a little blob of this ivory, and just make the color that I'm looking for. I think that's going to be the most success.
Okay.
Was this the most recent one to empty?
I think so.
Okay. Because I know that I'm going to have to scrape. Okay, I'm going to take one of these old sticks. I think they will be just fine for this. That is too much goo. It was very gooey, and it is. And dried in the bottle. There.
You can try it. Oh, they're on the ivory.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you can try the other bottle.
I mean, that happens. You know, sometimes the stuff just dries.
Especially if it didn't seal quick, right? I'm just, with all these set pieces, there's often a lot of repetition. So, for example, all these doors, I want to get this wood inlay, or this inner part in the wood color. And I'm only doing one side right now. I'm going to have to flip around and do all these on the other side. But I like to give it a chance to dry. And since I have so many to get through anyway, I can let these sit and dry nicely so that they're easier to handle when I'm doing the other side. A lot of times on this show, I try to, you know, I work on something before it's fully dry, just to keep the action going, basically, when really it's better to let it fully dry before you move on and handle it. But most of these paints dry relatively quickly, and rather than watching literally nothing but paint drying, I like to try and keep things moving, but sometimes it causes some problems. So all of the bands that go over this brown that I'm painting, I'm going to do in a silver and then wash down with a black wash in order to sort of create a well-used and oiled iron look. And I think that tends to make a fairly nice looking door.
Yeah. Let's look at it. Okay. Get back here. A little too much. So what I'm going to do is get this. I think I might, I can do a little white wash and just dump it over that. Yeah.
So what you're gonna see eventually is that these doors go in like that into the frames here. And we fasten them with a little wire so that they have a hinge to swing on.
There. And do we still have that isopurple?
Yes, and that cuts right there.
Just dab my finger in there. Clean that up.
You'll probably want a lotion when we're done because that'll dry it out.
I have to lotion my hands constantly anyway, so.
In the winter.
Well used paper towel.
There's a lot of doors as well. And these ones take a little bit of focus to really get right. Although right now, I can be a little messy because I'm just getting in a little bit of the space brown. Just to make it life a little easier later.
Alright. Pretty happy with that. It's not bad. Got a little splotchy salt and pepper look. I'm gonna try to get that frame there. There. Get a little bit of that shot.
Mm-hmm. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, pretty happy with that. Because he's a middle-aged guy.
Mm-hmm. Middle-aged fire ganassi.
Mm-hmm. Now I need just a splotch of red. Just a really light dab. Gray. I need this teeniest, tiniest bit of red to make kind of a wax seal little spot. Is what I'm going for.
Oh, on the
Yeah,
scroll.
just a dot. I've been waiting for the little bit of brass I put on there, bright brass specifically.
To dry a little.
Mm-hmm. And I have just the faintest little dot. There. That's it. That's all I needed. Just a tiny little fragment. I can't think of anything else that I want to do around his butt here, because I mean, you're right. I had to go with this semi-futuristic.
It's under a cape. No one's gonna see it.
Yes, but I'll know.
You do think about his butt a lot, right?
I mean, I wouldn't put it that way, but there. So I'm gonna start getting in some of the black detail work here.
And we are rapidly approaching 5.
I mean, we're not rapidly approaching it any more rapidly than we were at the start.
We're slowly approaching 5.
Again, we're not anymore slowly approaching 5.
We're consistently approaching 5.
Exactly. Did you like how pedantic that was?
No. I'm gonna probably aim once I get to finish these sides of the doors. I have 2 more after this. Get this side done with the brown. And then I'll probably wrap up there rather than start a whole new suite of things. If that sounds reasonable to you.
Oh, yeah. That sounds reasonable to me.
Alright, and now I'm on my last door. Well, half door. Because I'm only getting one side right now. And I'll be getting the rest later. just got so many of these little spots to paint in with brown. But I think that is the last one. So, next time I'll be painting, depending on where I'm at in terms of getting more gray, how easily and quickly I can get it. I'll be doing a ton more of these dungeon tiles if I can't get it by the time we stream next. I'll probably be working on these doors some more, which will be painting more brown on the other side and then starting in on all of the silver that will make up a good bulk of the door with the banding. So each of these cross parts will be painted silver. And just get through all of those doors. But for now, I'm going to let those dry. These tiles I just painted should be mostly dry. But I'll probably also be painting the door frames here in the brown to get those... Ooh, sorry, excuse me, hiccups. To get those also finished and ready. Because these are wooden frames around these stone tiles. And you're getting his butt filled in.
Not how I'd put it, but yes.
Good.
This is just very, very awkward work.
I'm gonna spam it and stretch.
Because while I'm doing this, I have to have my brush at just the right angle. Try to get things in there. I'm definitely going to have to go back with the copper and clean some of this up. Nothing unusual about that.
I'm gonna start moving over some of these base coated pieces I did, so they're out of the way. They've had enough time where they're pretty much dry. So, putting them behind us here, sort of store them, and all that, make some room for the next batch. I'd say there's probably an absolute ton more to do.
Very precise in my opinion. Very, very precise.
Thank you.
That is on my finger, not on the model.
And then, once I finally get through all of these base coats, I get to go through one at a time and do some detail work on each. Probably not a ton, just for my own sake. But, you know, using like a darker gray and putting in like a brick here and there to be slightly different and varied. So you're not staring at a whole bunch of identical pieces when you have a big pile.
Definitely gonna need to go back with the leather and touch up some of that, but that's model painting for you.
So, I'm gonna leave these guys out because I'm planning to do some framework on them. And then I'm going to put some framing, paint the wood frames in on them. And I know I have that brown, so I might as well keep them out and ready. Yeah, but I have sort of hit the end of what I can work on for now. I'll just let you finish up.
Hey. I don't have too much further to do here. I think black is actually an overall pretty decent choice here.
Yeah, it gives some contrast to all of the stuff he's wearing.
Yeah.
He has a lot of very bright colors. That copper is almost orange. And the blue mithril-y color.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna
have a very bright. I would probably tone the copper down later with a wash, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna go over that with an umber wash. So that it doesn't go totally shifting out of its current design, but that it's a little less bright.
Yeah, it's looking good.
I'm pretty happy with how that orb's coming along.
Yeah, the orb looks good. It looks like, I don't know, some sort of relic-y kind of thing.
Yeah. I really like the little green touches around it. I think what I'm going to do is umber, maybe a black wash over the copper here, and all this is going to be copper up here, but I'm not going to wash the
blue. Gotcha. Alright, well, it looks like it's coming along.
Yeah, I'll give folks a quick view of this. So you can see how it's coming along. I'm really happy with how that orb's coming along. So, here we go. Thanks for watching, folks.
Yeah, thanks for coming by.
We will catch you next time. The next art stream should be Friday. However, I want to give everyone a warning that we have some of our family coming back from a trip. Your parents coming back from a trip, and a lot of flights are being canceled all over the place. So there's some
uncertainty about when and where.
And we may end up having to travel someplace, the two of us, to go get them. So there might be a delay on that part.
We'll see. So, Friday, theoretically.
In theory, Friday. Yeah. And we're probably going to do some video game streaming in between now and Friday.
Yep.
So we might see you on there too.
Yeah. So, thanks for coming back.
Bye, everybody.